Okay, well, hey guys, welcome back. It's been a little bit of time, but this is a Console Explosion podcast. This is where we talk about all the nerdy things, all the relevant stuff that matters to us. Today, we got some, I guess, mostly good news, some topics I want to talk about. First topic that I know of is Shenmue. Then I also want to do an update on Injustice 2, and then I want to talk a little bit about VR. I've had some experiences personally with VR, so I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation. I know Jared had a few things to talk about. We can go ahead and get that out of the way first if you want to talk about that.
Hey, first of all, just one thing. I know Tyler's not going to give a rat's ass because heaven forbid he knows anything in the world of sports. But no, just the biggest thing on TV this Saturday, Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McCormick in what is considered the biggest money match ever.
Conor McGregor.
This UFC?
No,
well, technically it's a UFC fighter fighting an undefeated boxer.
Yeah.
And boxing rules or UFC rules?
8-ounce gloves, which are smaller than boxing gloves, but more than UFC gloves, and it is technically boxing rules, but the UFC fighter Conor McCormick is a striker, so.
Well, I mean, I watch UFC once in a while, so I might join in.
But Floyd Mayweather being what? He's undefeated.
Yeah, he's like 40 something. No. So
yeah.
He's
kids are back for the first time.
Well, I understand that. Kids are important. Okay. But yeah, I think it's like 42-0. I don't follow boxing that much anymore, and I'm not a huge fan of his personality, but I will say that he's a good boxer. So, real quick, what are your predictions for it?
For me, before they announced the glove size, I gave it hands down. It's going to Mayweather, hands down. But now that they announced the glove size, I think that really puts it into favor for Conor McCormick. Due to the fact that, Conor McGregor. I don't know. Who's Conor McCormick? Maybe I went to school with someone at South Park.
Here's a question. I have a question. What does glove size have to do with anything?
Well, go ahead.
I'll tell you a quick story here. There's a movie that stars Jackie Chan, and I forget the name of the movie, but a bunch of assassins were hired to kill Jackie Chan. So this one assassin comes, and he's a boxer. Mm-hmm. So he's fighting Jackie Chan. He lets Jackie Chan hit him and says, oh, okay. So Jackie Chan is using his fists. So this guy says, well, I want the fight to last, and by the weight of your punch, he gets gloves that are about 13, 15-ounce gloves. So that way he would drag the fight on, not hurt Jackie Chan in the fight, because Jackie Chan's punches don't hurt him. So he wanted to make sure his punches don't hurt Jackie by having thicker gloves. So anyways, this guy beats the crap out of Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan runs away, trains a bit more, then ends up fighting him again. So the guy puts on his big 15-ounce gloves again, thinking, oh, well, Jackie Chan, he's weak. So Jackie hits him, and then he goes, oh, geez, realizes, oh, he's a lot better than our first fight. So he ends up fighting him, fist to fist. Knuckle. Yeah, knuckle. So it's the size of the glove and the padding, right? So more padding, the softer the punches, the harder you have to punch in order to knock somebody out. Now, boxers are trained to fight and have that extra oomph because of that extra, weight or that extra padding in there.
Okay.
UFC gloves are just, they're just cover your fingers, right? So that would mean a UFC fighter has to punch a lot harder than a boxer. So
all the way around, actually.
True. But the boxers are trained for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of that Jackie Chan boxer dilemma in the beginning.
All right. So are they both going to have same boxing size or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining.
Yeah. So I'm personally, I want Conor McGregor to win because I like his personality. He's a really cool guy, so I actually think that it would be cool to see him win. I will say though, I've done boxing and I've done martial arts, and the fact that like he is a striker, but some of his expertise is kind of hindered because it's kind of like having like his hands tied behind his back because he has to play boxing rules. And this guy he's 49-0. Mayweather is 49-0, and I think the nerd in me, the sports nerd in me, is thinking that like these guys, I know what it feels like to use like really really big. Like I think I use like 18-ounce gloves or something like that. Like I have some really big boxing gloves, and so when I'm doing the mitt training, like I have to like really hit it hard. But like they're trained to punch through stuff. Like they're trained to like imagine their fist going through the other side of that person's face. Or at least that's what Mike Tyson did, and that's kind of the mentality that this person kind of has as well. That super cockiness where he's like, I'm going to defeat this guy. But he's a good boxer. Like he's a really, really good boxer. As much as I dislike him, I used to dislike him less. But me personally, I think that Mayweather is going to win still because now he has like, I think he's more at an advantage because he's going to punch so fast. Unless if he's training for it, yes. If he's like training with his normal gloves and then all of a sudden has to use those kind of gloves, that's I'm going to assume that he's training with those gloves in mind. But so that's my thought on it. But we could see some like unorthodox style of fighting because as long as there's no low blows, no headbutting and cheap tactics, I'm pretty sure the style of boxing is pretty fair game as long as he's not so his stance, his approach, his defense could be completely different from any boxer he's ever fought before because most boxers train to fight a certain kind of way, so it gets very formulaic. So it'll be an interesting fight or a very boring fight.
Yeah, and the other thing is like Conor has never he's got 22 wins, 3 losses. Mm-hmm. He's only ever lost by submission, and 18 of his wins are by knockout. So he is a striker, so to be able to put that up against someone who's 49-0, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch. I don't think it's worth the money to buy. I think we're just going to be able to see all the free plays on Facebook. I mean, the same as the last UFC fight, right?
And the last Mayweather versus Pacquiao, too.
Yeah, exactly. The last, it shows up on Facebook. Now it's this Facebook streaming, which is, in my eyes, kind of ruining a lot of stuff. But, it is what it is when it comes to that. Yeah. So any other comments about that? Because there's one last thing I want to bring up.
Go for it. I'm good.
All right. The biggest thing that's happening, when we're talking about a big drag-out fight right now, we're talking about YouTube. And YouTube releasing a new bot the last couple of days who is ruining people's ability to monetize their videos. This bot is an absolute, I don't know, it's a parental bot. This is some of the stuff that it states that people are having trouble with. So if you have videos that are, you have a catalog of 150 videos, right? Mm-hmm. And your videos get hit that they're not ad friendly, so they can no longer be monetized. If you want to have YouTube look at that, you need 1,000 views for that video a week in order for someone just to look at it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you get one appeal that may not be looked at by a human. Okay, so they're finding a lot of huge YouTubers are clicking appeal, and it gets right back saying, we already looked it over, it's not ad friendly. Nobody's manually viewing these, and there's no criteria of why these videos are being hit. There's nothing was saying you can't do this. It's just out there. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows the algorithm. We got some of our podcasts hit. Here's the funny part. The final video that we have with Tabian's wonderful face, on there talking about what the video is going to be, those get hit, but the raw, uncut version of it doesn't get hit. So the edited version gets hit that Tavian takes time to edit and go through, but our raw, uncut, unfiltered ones are not being hit. I don't understand. And then the biggest thing is that YouTube, they don't give a shit. They stated that all videos on YouTube now have to be suitable for a person 5 years of age.
The videos I make are not for someone who's 5 years old. I'll tell you that. But those videos are not getting hit. It's my says me, I guess, smoking hookah with my friends. Apparently, that's a no-no.
But here's the thing. That's what they're saying. But the ads that we're getting are what? Beer commercials, car ads, Viagra, things that aren't for 5-year-olds. So why do the videos have to be set up for 5-year-olds, but the ads that are coming on, they're not set for 5-year-olds? So there's something wrong here, and it's really pissing a lot of YouTubers off, especially ones who need this income. We do it because we don't need it. We do it because we love it. That's what the Console Xplosion's about. If we made some money doing this, hey, that's great. It goes right back into the product itself. But in reality, there are people who do this for a living, and they're being hit, and it's hurting them big time.
Two points that I have to that is one, I think that if YouTube could, because this isn't like a new thing. This is kind of a trend that's been kind of evolving over the last couple of years, where they do stuff like this with monetization and sometimes not even having why right off the bat. But I feel more and more like if they continue to do this, that they're shooting themselves in the foot, because there's a lot of competitors that are starting to rise up, and they're giving those people an avenue to do so. And it seems like this is really spurred from their sponsors, or whatever you want to call them, their ad people, their
advertisers.
Yeah, they're advertisers. And it seems like that is not a great way to go. I mean, that's a good point too. Like, you have beer. I've never seen a Viagra commercial, so I'm not sure what you're looking at. But if that's on there, then it's not for those kind of audiences. So I mean, that is kind of hypocritical. I don't think that's a good way to go. The other point that I wanted to make, and this is something that a lot of YouTubers that I follow say, I follow a lot of entrepreneurial YouTubers, a lot of people who are kind of self-made, so to speak, and they all say, and this is something that I'm going to encourage any YouTubers that watch this to do, is to find a way to monetize. If you're making money from YouTube, primarily find a way to monetize yourself outside of YouTube. Get your own domain, get your own products, or find something that you can do outside of YouTube. Because as much as I think this is kind of bullshit, at the end of the day, YouTube owns this, and you have to expect that they can sweep the rug from under you. So in order to avoid that, my point or my advice is to find a way to monetize yourself outside of that. Like, I personally, sometimes on my own videos, I'll monetize through Amazon, or sometimes I'll have my own services on there. So it's a good way to still keep your fan base so that you don't switch to something else right away if you do decide to do that. But you can still find a way to make money and do it in a still legitimate way, and have ads turned off. If they turn them off, not piss off your viewers by having ads on, and still make money directly from your viewers, so the relationship's a little bit tighter. So my thoughts on that.
Whatever happened to this YouTube Red thing?
It's still there, I believe.
It's still there. I still get them.
I know, but like, what was like this whole thing where it was supposed to be people could subscribe to channels, and this whole thing where the ads would be more friendly and stuff? I haven't seen any of this really.
Well, you have to subscribe to it. It's kind of an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
Like, they get exclusive content, and they also get, I think, ad-free.
Yes.
But I think they've kind of peeled back on the advertising of it, but it's still there.
It should be ad-free, and depending on what videos they watch, some of those people should get some of the, what we call YouTube Red money. Some of the revenue. I still get some, but it's not much.
Same.
13 cents. That's not enough.
Yeah, so, it's still there. I think currently MatPat is like one of the most viewed. MatPat's like Game Lab, I believe, is one of the most viewed RedTube. YouTube
No,
Red.
don't go to
YouTube Red's videos, exclusive videos. So it's still there. I don't know how well it's doing. I don't know the numbers on that.
This RedTube, I don't see where you could find MatPat on this. Seems a little.
You gotta search around for a little bit.
Yeah, well, let me see here.
Don't you
see
do
a lot
it.
of dicks.
Oh my god! Now we're gonna get pinged.
We just lost our advertisers.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
So, did you have any other points to hit on that one?
No, it was just that was my biggest point. It's just I just think it's just really screwing a lot of people around. But you are right. I mean, brand yourself, get yourself out for doing other things, obviously. But it's really hard. This to me isn't really meant for the huge people.
Celebrities
It's
and
the
stuff.
people it's the people who are trying to get there, right?
Mhm.
Now their videos aren't going to be monetized. Now those young people who are trying to do this aren't going to get anywhere.
Yeah. I think of YouTube as a portfolio for my personality and my skills. That's kind of how I approach YouTube because of that. Like I knew before I started doing YouTube consistently that was kind of the mindset that I had, is that eventually I'm going to turn this into some sort of business outside of YouTube, because I had heard nightmares about this, about sometimes monetization getting cut off. Sometimes just, you forget to turn on the monetization, all these other kind of things. But at the same time, and everyone has their own reasons for YouTubing. So some people, they do exclusively make money on this. But I just think that, if you don't want to have a day job, you kind of have to develop some skills. So I would learn how to not get paid by other people. It's almost like you're renting this space. You don't own it. You have a YouTube account, but you don't own it. If someone wants to mow over this and put over some condos or put over like a theme park, they have every right to do that because it's their property. So you kind of have to have that, in my opinion, to have that mindset when you're approaching YouTube, because you can feel entitled all day, but at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do because they own it. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. So it sucks. And I will speak up about it, but at the same time, I will say defend yourselves against getting shit on is the best thing that I can say. It does still suck. It does suck.
I'm just really surprised at all the stuff I'm getting away with YouTube, and they're not monetizing me for this video, which I'm really quite surprised. I know.
But that's the thing, right? Nobody knows, nobody understands, and I think that's the big frustration, is nobody knows what's going on. So, anyways, that's all I had. So,
Well, speaking of frustration, I was surfing social media and I saw a few people complaining about a game that I'm excited about. So I'm a little biased, but I'm going to try to be unbiased. But that game is Shenmue 3. They recently released a video
teaser.
And, a teaser video about the game, like a little bit of a story teaser. And a lot of people are very upset because the quality of it was not as good as they had hoped it would be at this point. And there are a few articles. I saw one where they said something simple like they took out the facial expressions from the video for one reason or another. I do think that this video is very unpolished, but I think people are quick to get up in arms about this kind of stuff.
It's just weird. I love the teaser, and I wanted to see more. This whole little controversy kind of surprised me a bit.
Yeah. See, I'm not sure where to go with this, but my issue, and I see this a lot because in the fighting game community, and Jared also contributes to this, people love to hate on games. They love to do it.
We'll name one game I shit on.
Street Fighter 5?
No, I said name a game. That's not a game.
I knew you were going to do that.
Hunk of crap.
Anywho, my point is that there's whole Reddit websites dedicated to shitting on games or game developers, and I think that we've gotten to this point where we're so damn entitled that a game should be a certain kind of way, and I call bullshit on that. And at the same time, it's way too early to even say that. you could argue that branding wise, it wasn't very wise to put out this game. But I will say personally, I don't give a fuck about the graphics or the way the game looks. I want to finish the storyline. Me personally, I just want the storyline to be done. As long as the storyline is cohesive with the first two, that's what I want. I know everyone else wants their own experience, but stop shitting on the game and like bashing them and trying to take down the game just because it's not what you want it to be. If it's not what you want it to be, don't fucking buy it. Like, ask for a refund if you put it into Kickstarter. But like, goddamn, I've seen so many people shitting on games. Like the same situation is happening with Capcom, with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. They shitted on Chun-Li's face and made memes and complained and said I'm not buying it and said I hope Capcom dies and all this other shit, death threats, all kinds of extreme stuff. And now they've fixed those problems that they've complained about. Like, it's not even a thing now. So now they have to find something else to complain about. And people, for some reason, just love to complain about all this shit that I feel like they could just not buy it. Like, just don't buy it.
What was wrong with Chun-Li's face?
It was not very well polished. Like, if you go and look at the before and after pictures, you can kind of see that. They fixed, I think, Dante as well, and then a couple other characters.
I understand her thighs. Her thighs are too big.
Well, how many years has it been since Street Fighter 1 to Street Fighter 5? In game, how many years has it been? This is a hard question, isn't it?
Well, especially if you talk about Street Fighter 1, yeah.
You mean like lore-wise?
Yeah, and lore-wise, how many years has it been since Street Fighter 1 or even Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter
2? That is hard to say because the games don't go in chronological order.
Oh, I know that, but I'm trying to get a basis here because in reality, we know that Street Fighter 2 takes place well before Street Fighter 5, correct?
I want to say so, yeah. But in Street Fighter Third Strike takes place after Street Fighter 5.
Yes. So, with that being said, Chun-Li's face would look like Hamburger after getting so many fights that she has, right? I mean, let's be honest here. In as many fights as she's been in, and you've seen the continuous countdown, right? So, people should have just played it that way. That's what I would have done personally.
Well played.
You have to send me a picture of Chun-Li. So,
oh my god, it's gonna be like a meme. I have to I have to be the one that makes it.
The ones I'm seeing, that she looks fine.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't see the Shenmue 3 trailer. I just watched it as you guys were talking. I kind of see what people are saying.
Yeah, and I absolutely. It's not polished.
It's absolutely the game, everything, like the backgrounds look good, everything looks good. The faces though are just they're fighting and it's just I understand that, but are they trying to do a retro feel with what the Dreamcast could do? Because this Shenmue looks exactly like the same Shenmues I've seen on the Dreamcast. I don't see any difference. That's just me.
Graphical wise, I don't feel like it's new gen quality, but I don't know if they're going to. There's two directions they can go with this. They can stylize it and make it look more polished with what they already have and fix the lighting and stuff. Because the backgrounds and stuff do look great. The only thing is the character models. Like the lighting looks off on them because they stand out a lot more than the actual, the landscape and stuff. Like the landscape looks fairly beautiful.
It's like they rendered two different things and just put them together and just put the people in front of the backgrounds. Really, right. And usually with this kind of stuff, like lighting takes a really long time to render. So honestly, that would fix the way they look. Like there's a couple of shots where you can see them, like they have no facial expressions. They look kind of like dead on the inside, which actually isn't that different from Shenmue 1 and 2. There wasn't a lot of facial expressions, so it does kind of have the old school feel. I'm pretty sure they're going to fix that though. But people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand game development. They don't go through the grind of doing it. They don't understand the process, and when they're trying to like put out something, it's like this is not a finished product, and there are things that aren't in the game. But people can pick out what they don't like, but they don't understand why it's not in the game yet. Sometimes there's a communication error on the developer side, I will say, but it looks like the developers have come out and already said that they took out the facial expressions. But yeah, the animations aren't that bad. They kind of had that old school Dreamcast feel, but it's still fairly polished.
Like you get the idea of what's going on in the story. Like you see him training with a few different people. I can't tell because of the facial expressions who's friendly and who's not. But but yeah, it kind of pisses me off. I'm really sick of like people just shitting on games, and it's like this is kind of like this game is personal to me, so I'm a little more pissed than I normally would be. Like, I know you attack Street Fighter all the time, it's all good and fun, but like people bashing this game, no one wins. No one wins when you're like shitting on this game, because this is like a fantasy story. This is like a fairy tale story of like this game that died and has finally come back, and like you guys want to attack it, and this developer it's like his pet project. Like these people, you don't know this dude's life. You don't know Yu Shizuki. I can't pronounce his name, but like it doesn't. Nobody wins when you're shitting on this game and saying it sucks. So
I agree with you, but I have to kind of say that we as gamers, because of Kickstarter and because of some major studios, we've really been kind of
burnt.
Boop, 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 quite a few times. Gearbox and Sega with the catastrophe of Colonial Marines. I mean, let's take a look at that. There's a game that had everything, dynamic lighting, everything that this game showed in its trailer was absolutely phenomenal. When the game came out, it had nothing. Why?
Yeah.
Because Gearbox took all Sega's money and went, here you go, Borderlands 2. Take all the money from Sega. So that's why Borderlands 2 is good, and then this product suffered, because they took all that money and shoveled it over there. So we were hurt by a major developer. Of course, look at all these Kickstarter games that come up and don't live up to what they want, or they're fake, and they've really been hurting us that way. And then, of course, don't get me started about Capcom.
No, and so you raise, like, that's a very legitimate point. Like, a lot of people from Kickstarter and just game developers in general, like, Brink was a game that I was super excited for, and I pushed it when I worked at GameStop and got people to pre-order it. So I totally, like, that makes sense, and it's very valid, and people should speak up about things when they legitimately are bad. However, I will share, I guess, a story with you. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am of the African-American descent. I do have the brown skin. I know.
I thought you were Jamaican.
Stay with me. I am Jamaican. But look,
I thought we had another Mexican.
My point in saying this, though, is that I am not the stereotypical black person. You don't. When you imagine a black person, most people they don't envision the way I act or the way that I talk. But in my life, a lot of people have prejudged me just because of the fact of their previous interactions with other black people, or just the stories they've been told when they grew up. And I've had people be very aggressive to me. I've had people be very racist to me simply because of the color of my skin and their perception of how I act, just because of that reason. My point in saying that is because, yes, you should be a little bit, I don't want to say defensive. You should be suspicious, I want to say, but of these game developers. And when you're spending your money on something, yes, you should make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. But what I'm getting at is that the way people are going about it when it comes to game developers is not helping anybody. At the end of the day, a lot of these people, the ones that are actually working on it, not the actual lead projects, not the ones that are actually aware that the game is bad and still forcing these people to do it, but the everyday person, they're getting shit on. They're getting their names dragged in the mud because we don't know how to act like fucking human beings. Like, you can not buy the game. You can speak up. You can email the people. You can call them. You can ask them and say, this is the problem that you have with your game. You're not getting my money. But when you just go on social media, or you go and you just say, this game fucking sucks, I hope these people die, I hope you, like, when you're actually like making death threats and sending them death threats and tweeting it out and just like shitting on them, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Yes, don't buy the game. Yes, be upset and ask for a refund. Yes, email them, send a letter, call them, like, ask them why this game isn't as good as it should be when, however long it's taken, like, not any specific game, but do it as a damn adult. We're not children anymore throwing fucking temper tantrums on Xbox Live. We are adults, and we need to show the fucking children that are on Xbox Live and PlayStation and PC games to act like goddamn adults and not just bitch at people and say racial slurs whenever they get pissed off because things didn't go their way. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I've been on the receiving end of people hating on a game because I was an animator or a project lead, and I tried my damnedest to make that game as good as it could be, but because of restrictions, I couldn't get that game to be as good as I wanted it to be. I had time restraints. I had people who were just stupid, to put it bluntly. And so it just kind of sucks when I see this. A game that I'm super passionate about, I will say I'm very biased in this, and I hope this game does well, and I'll play it and probably enjoy it whether it is good or not because I just want the story. But to not go on and on, I'm just saying there are better ways to go about it when a game is not good. That's what I'm trying to get at.
See, and I totally agree. But, you know, back to your, I just want to point this out. You're saying that you're not a stereotypical African American, but
yes,
I look at you and you just admitted that you stole from people. And that's one of those stereotypes that I was always talking about with what African Americans do is stealing.
What are you talking about?
And hang on, you've done that with a straight face and you smile about it and makes me really wonder about your integrity. You actually got people to pre-order Brink? You are worse than the devil. That is the worst game I've ever heard of.
I bought it myself too. I tried to convince myself that game was so good, and it wasn't. It wasn't.
Jeez.
All right, you know what?
Pre-order Brink. Come on. Give me your money. I want your Brink. It's the greatest game ever made. It's going to revolutionize the video game world. Believe me. Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should. Bro.
I am ashamed. Trust me. I am.
I guess it's a good thing I didn't pre-order it.
Yes, it is a good
I
thing.
bought it in the dollar bin and I felt screwed.
So, unless there's anything else to add to that, I didn't know, Tyler, if you had anything to add on.
Not much. I'm just feel the opposite of what everyone else is complaining about. I enjoyed the trailer. I loved the teaser. I thought the animation was fine. I thought the face was fine. I felt like I was looking at a Shenmue game. I liked everything about it. So
awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I got no negatives about it. Like you, I just want the story.
Boom. Awesome.
Boom.
When we get it, we gotta talk about it and stuff.
Yes.
I'm so excited for that game. Super hyped up. Okay, so next topic, I'll just kind of give a quick update because this is something that I'm actually really excited for. And they announced some of the new characters for Injustice 2. One character I don't give a damn about. That character is Raiden from Mortal Kombat series. I feel like he's a wasted character. Personally, I don't care. I'll try him out, but I never really cared for Raiden. So as a character, I just don't care about him. So it's not something that excites me. Number 2, it was super obvious that he was going to be in there because the silhouette's very distinct, and that's Black Manta from Aquaman, Aquaman villain. I'm excited for him. I'll try him out. He looks really cool. No gameplay
what's his name again?
Yet. Black Manta, like Manta Ray.
Okay.
I don't
He's
know
the most stupidest designed character I've ever seen in my life. You ever see him? Got this big
he has a UFO head.
bubble thing over his head. And
him.
He's coming out. I don't even understand I don't even understand how this guy can walk with that fat thing over his face. This thing is huge.
Here's a question. I got a question. Is Aqualad in Injustice by any chance?
Not yet.
Oh, come on. What, you're going to bring his father into the game, but not the son?
I know.
Do I have another reason not to buy the game?
Maybe. Maybe. But the character that I'm excited for that's going to be in here is Hellboy.
Oh. Yeah.
Which was actually a shock. I'll admit that was a shock.
Yeah, I'm still hoping that Raiden is actually like a April Fool's joke, and they're actually gonna have the alien thing, where I don't know if you ever saw the trailer. I can't remember the character, but they had the silhouette, so they thought that it was somebody else. But then the alien did the chest bursting thing. I'm over here punching my mic, and came out of the character, and it was actually the alien. So no one suspected that. I think they did the same thing. Everyone thought that the Atom was gonna be in here, so I'm guessing that tiny silhouette was actually either a glitch or just a spoof because Ed Boon loves to play games with people's emotions.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm actually really excited about Hellboy. I will say I was introduced to him from the movies, which I loved.
I didn't know DC owned Hellboy.
I feel like it's a separate. It's one of those DC comics where it's just separate, I believe.
Oh, okay, so it's not related to the superheroes. Okay.
Yeah, there's some Marvel characters that are like that too, and I think there's a few other DC characters. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
I thought they were all in the same universe.
Sometimes they don't do that, or I mean, I'm sure there's crossover episodes where they are, but for the most part, no. I think it's a separate.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. I kind of wanted to talk about VR, but we're running short on time, and I'm getting running out of gas after doing that rant on Shenmue. So maybe I'll save that for when Antonio and Ian are on the show, because I will say this.
Oh, I get it. They're better than us. All right. Thank you for letting. Now the truth comes out. I get it. No.
They show enthusiasm over VR.
No,
I think Tyler has expressed some enthusiasm too, but he hasn't had a chance to play it. But I will say that, like, basically, I had a chance to finally try out like the HTC Vive. There's a place that just opened up in here in Kalamazoo called Glitch Gaming, and they have actual VR setups. And there's another place actually called Nova VR, and I got a chance to play a bunch of different games, and I'm excited for the future of VR. I'll say that. I still think it's a little overpriced, and I don't want to put it in my own house, but I'm glad that I have somewhere local to go to and play it, and play a variety of games without having to buy them all. So I'm going to have some more updates on VR as time goes on. I really am excited about this technology.
They might charge you now.
Who?
The place you're going to. They might say, "Oh, Grace, take him. How much do we charge him for an hour? $30? All right, take him. You got $30 to play."
Well, no, they charge. I mean, it's a gaming launch. So they're going to charge anyways for playing games. So that's kind of.
Okay. So it's like its own mini arcade place, except for VR.
Yeah, I mean, a game lounge is basically an arcade with consoles and PCs and stuff like that. PC games instead of cabinets.
Okay, to be honest, I did play VR, but I am cheating with the VR at the moment. The reason I'm kind of cheating because I actually found a program that lets me use my phone and my little
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I have one of those too.
Yeah, but had you connected to your computer though?
Oh, I know I didn't. I have like just a phone version, but I'm talking about like full body VR where you.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I actually found a way. I found a program that allows me to use my phone to make it work with some of the VR games on my PC.
Oh, you mean like the full body where you move around and stuff?
Yeah, it doesn't work well. It doesn't work well, but it kind of works. It's just my PC is not built for VR.
Please send me a link to that. I would like to try this.
All right.
Cool. But yeah, so I mean, other than that, I just want to say that VR is great. I can't wait for technology to advance. I hope to probably get into stocks or something. But on that note, I will pass the question on to you guys. What were your thoughts on any of the topics that we talked about? Whether it be the McGregor-Mayweather fight, the Injustice update, the Shenmue video. I would love to know your thoughts on that one personally. Or just, what's your experience with VR? Let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, I'm going to go down the line here. I don't know what Jared's doing there, but if he has any closing statements, he can make them now.
That's actually Jared, what he really looks like during the night.
Oh, I'm a croissant, and I'd like to say that the console explosion is the best place to go. So make sure you go to www.consoleexplosion.com. Also, check out the Twitter at Console Explosion and they have Twitch every day, and there's people giving away free games. And if you're watching this on VidMe, make sure you upvote it if you like croissants.
Oh, God. Tyler, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on YouTube, the Video Game Hunter 32, and also I have some new interviews posted on the Console Explosion YouTube channel. Please check out those interviews out. I actually found some pretty interesting people. You also can follow me on Twitter, VGH32, and you can also follow me on Twitch, Video Game Hunter. And again, like Jared said, I'll also stream on the Console Explosions Twitch channel every Monday night around 9 or 10.
Awesome. And as always, I'm your host, The Philosopher. You can find me on Facebook.com/philosopher, or probably Twitter is the best way to get a hold of me. Twitter, it's at The Philosopher. And then, of course, my channel where I do mainly fighting game and motivational personal development type stuff. That's over at youtube.com/The Philosopher. But of course, you can find me, other fine gentlemen who have also been on the Console Explosion podcast before, all on theconsoleexplosion.com. Other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for listening. And as always, I will see you in the next one.
Oh, best way to get a hold of me is by your hand. Because I'm a croissant.